Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this pep talk. My name is Gert-Jan Scheers, and I will be your host for today. Pep talks are an initiative of WCC, and they aim to facilitate the exchange of knowledge between public employment services all over the world. And today we are hosting this from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, but we are even planning one for Spanish-talking people, speaking to people coming from Colombia, probably in the fall. We are a very international audience today. We have people from at least 15 different countries, so welcome, and I hope you have a great time in the next 45 minutes. Today's topic is artificial intelligence and everything that is connected to artificial intelligence and searching and matching in public employment services. But let me give you some information first. It's a live webinar, so you can ask questions. There's a small button on your screen where you can ask the questions, and we'll try to answer your questions during this webinar. We'll be also asking questions to you. We have 2 questions prepared, so I hope you'll join in and participate by giving your answers, so we can discuss it also in this webinar. And then last but not least, if you are not able to watch it all the way to the end, it will be available on demand after you watch this, after we finish this webinar, or you can give the link to somebody else, because you only need the link to get back to this webinar, to one of your colleagues, and maybe you want them also to watch this webinar. Yes, artificial intelligence, algorithms, big data. We've been talking about big data before, but this time we'll be talking about how to use it for matching, and what is really artificial intelligence all about. And for that we have 2 people with us today that I would like to introduce to you. First of all, let me introduce you to Marcel Bakker. Marcel works for WCC, but also is involved with ESCO for the maintenance of ESCO. So he's our big brain, our not artificial, but real intelligence on taxonomies. And for the more practical side, I'm very happy to introduce to you again Ria. Ria, welcome to our webinar again. And she'll be talking a little bit about what VDAB is planning to do with artificial intelligence. So, well, let's start, and I'll hand the clicker over to you, and Marcel.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I will start with a brief overview of AI. What does it mean in the context of a public employment service? You see a number of trends. You see, for example, AI can write the perfect job ad. AI will eliminate the human bias. You can see that we can also use AI for chatbots. I would like to quote Katrina Kibben from Randstad, who says, in any area of recruiting where distinct inputs and outputs occur, such as screening, sourcing and assessments, they will largely become automated. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How can we use AI and the knowledge in order to improve your processes? The challenges of AI. In order to get AI up and running, you need a lot of data. There is a lot of human bias that it can learn. For example, if 5,000 people are looking for a gardener job, it does not mean that there are 5,000 vacancies. And AI also faces a lot of skepticism. So what are we really talking about? Is AI equals big data? AI uses big data? Yes, AI uses big data. Why? Because with algorithms that can consume the data, AI can learn and become more intelligent for the services required. What are algorithms? Algorithms are the way you understand the data and how AI can make use of that. In short, artificial intelligence. Here I have a slide. It's from Forrester. It's from 2017, and it shows the progression, how we progressed in time. We started with keyword search, indexing, so in other words, you're looking for a driller. If you type driller, it will find you. Semantic search, where natural language processing takes place. So then it's really about what you are saying in a normal way, not in a indexed keyword way. Then we move to cognitive search, where natural human interaction, natural language processing and indexing takes place.
Marcel, why you are nearby cognitive search and where is the matching? Because VDIB also use next to search matching algorithm from WCC, and I don't see it on the slide.
Yeah, very valid question. So Forrester in 2017 predominantly focused on recruiters. And recruiters didn't believe in match at that time. And so therefore it's search. If you would do it again, it would include also match.
Ah, okay.
Okay. As said, the artificial intelligence requires a lot of knowledge. We have our own internal ontology. It's a WCC ontology, and we use it to power our search, match, gap, and referral services. It contains information from most popular classifications, such as ESCO, ONET, ROAM-tree, competent. All structured occupation knowledge is included, as well as search phrases, vacancy knowledge, CV knowledge, etc. And we use this in our global ontology to power the services.
Marcel, what's the difference between ontology and taxonomy?
So very formally, an ontology is a collection of taxonomies. So when we use the word ontology, we mean basically a large set of data, which then consists of many taxonomies within. A quick example for ESCO. ESCO is an ontology, an occupation classification, and it has ESCO occupations as a taxonomy and ESCO skills as a taxonomy.
Okay, thank you.
One size does not fit all. What do we mean by that? If you take a first look at these two CVs, they appear to be the same. There's a Frank, there's a Mark, but in essence, they seem to have done the same work history and the same education. If you look in detail, you do see there is a different location. You do see one is much younger than the other one. You see that the gender is the same, so that does not have any impact here. The job title is also the same, but the scope of work and the intelligence required can be different. If you look at the years of experience, there's also a difference here. How many experience was granted? And then, if we look at education, you see that both did exactly the same education, but in a different time. And as we know, curricula change and educations change. So this is not, although it appears to be an exact copy, it's not the same. Many additional other elements are needed. Here you see, by the way, that Frank really is different than Mark. If we look at any additional criteria needed, then we can look at age groups, regions, for example, but also a lot of other elements. Here you see, for example, disabilities, regulated professions, so that you cannot just work from one country to the other. People looking for outsource, temporary, permanent positions. A lot of additional knowledge is required to run search and match correctly. Back to you.
Yes, thank you, Marcel. We have one question for you. In which application would you want to use artificial intelligence first? You have three choices: labor market statistics, matching, or education and training. So please make your choice and we'll continue with the presentation. Marcel.
Thank you. So as we talked, artificial intelligence requires knowledge, a lot of knowledge. And why do we need this? Well, if you look at the regular world, the normal people, they communicate in a natural language. If I'm looking for a occupation where I need to weed the grass, I will just say I'm looking for a weed the grass occupation. I'm not saying I want to be a gardener, I just want to weed the grass. When we look at semantics in natural processing, we can already better understand what is being said. The natural language processing then enables the system to understand what is being spoken. On the other hand, we have the expert knowledge. So we have many statistics on the labor market. We have experts defining occupations, defining trainings, defining skills, etc.
So I understand, Marcel, that the way that experts see the world, or that actual people, normal people, as we say here, see the world, there should be some kind of match to bridge these two worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
What you see that experts normally come from a statistical perspective, and I, as a job seeker, I don't care about statistics. I
Yes,
care about a
course.
vacancy that suits me
Yes.
and where I'm suitable for.
And I think it's also not me talking to the system, but also probably the system talking to me back.
Yes,
That you also want it to talk in a more natural way.
Yeah.
Huh?
yes,
Yeah.
very true.
Okay.
Okay, so how to make use of both worlds? We combine the knowledge in search for job seeker and job post. We match, we report, we do profiling. We are able to do the gap and referral, and we can do career advice. So that's where we combine both worlds together. How is that then structured? So we have a lot of knowledge, and here you see an overview of all that knowledge. So we have the occupations, we have the classifications, we have CV data, we have vacancy data. Basically, a global knowledge base is recorded.
At VDAB, we are using therefore the taxonomy manager in a test phase. That's for data, for to see how the occupations and the things are related to each other.
Yes, the WCC Taxonomy Manager is a tool that allows you to capture and maintain your labor market domain knowledge. So anything that is relevant for any of the services is captured in there and also maintained in there.
Yeah.
That's what we'll see in a later, that maintaining your knowledge also very important.
Okay.
So how do we get to this data? So as I said, it's a global base. If we implement it on a local level, at the local PES, we'll first do an analysis of the local data. Then we add information to our knowledge base, so it becomes a more extensive, focused on your domain. Then we apply the knowledge in services. When we say service, we talk about gap, referral, etc. And of course, also the interactive match. Then we add it to then we add surveys, get local market information, and finally merge all the feedback into our knowledge base. So that's, as I said, with the taxonomy manager, you maintain and organize your knowledge, and this is how you keep it up to date.
So I understand well that WCC doesn't only supply a management tool as a taxonomy manager, but it also supplies all this knowledge.
Yes, correct. So the taxonomy manager is then supplied with all knowledge we already have gathered that is required for your local services.
So as a PES, you don't have to invest a lot of time in building up all this knowledge.
No.
Okay.
You will get it just as it is. The only thing you will need to do is add your localized knowledge.
Yes. What would be localized knowledge? Would you...
That you have competence. We are using competence as VDAB for the labor market in Belgium. But for example, another PES has his local thing. Malta, for example, Jobs Plus, has his own thing and is using also our competence, but they have combined and see, okay, there is a match of you have another ontology on that.
What would be an example of a difference what they do in Malta and what you don't do in Belgium?
They have local jobs there that we don't have in Belgium, and that's why they do it. For things around water and so on, they have a lot of things there that we in Belgium has no water at all. Nearby Brussels.
I think,
But you have the difference between the, for example, the harbor in Antwerp, plus the cities in in the west, in the French Wallonia. But there's also a big difference potentially between occupations.
I don't think we have many occupations in mountain climbing in the Netherlands.
No, no. That's another example.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do we have some results for you? Yes, we have some results for you. Well, we had three possibilities. The first possibility is labor market statistics. And 18% of the people said, that's why I want artificial intelligence. And then we have matching, Maria, 82%.
Whoa.
And education and training, nobody cares, for the moment, I hope. So is this something you would expect?
Yeah, I will expect it. Because matching is one of the things all of the PESs want. And that's why we use the matching algorithms of organizations. And that's why here also that you use AI, for example, for having the match between vacancies and job seekers. Yeah,
Okay. So
it is logic.
Good.
Yes, maybe something to add. So with the education, why would you use it for education? Because we're talking about matching. So are the candidates still relevant in the employment market? Here are all the graduates. So are the graduates still relevant in the employment market? In other words, has education been sufficient in order to train these people? And that's why AI would actually roll back also and say, to stay relevant, the students need a different curriculum because the labor market evolves rapidly. So there it also becomes nice.
So PES could give feedback to educational institutions to update their curriculum.
Yes, of also to training providers that after graduation, lifelong learning, okay, fine, I'm apparently less relevant. How do I become relevant again? Which trainings are available?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have gathered all this data, we have all this knowledge available, and now we want to apply it in segmentation. In other words, we want to define target groups that can have their own individual match strategies, their own perspectives on the employment market. If we look at the traditional segmentation, we have standard target groups such as long-term unemployed, the graduates, the immigrants, the females back to work. A number of standard target groups are normally found within a public employment service. If we then take an additional step, so for example, we say, we have graduates. Yes, but graduates in which sense? Did they do a higher education or did they study lower education? Whether in the north, whether in the south. So then you can segment further into more detail, and in essence, you can have every single person as its own target group. But that will be not so easy to maintain, but at least you can go one step deeper than traditionally was done.
We have one more question for you. The thing of having target groups makes you more in control of your labor force. So our question is, do you use target groups? And if so, how many target groups have you defined for which you make differentiated approach? Please tell us, and we'll come back to the results a few slides later. Before we move on, I have a question here from the audience, and I'm going to ask it to you, Ria. One of the people asks, is artificial intelligence, does it also make use of the feedback from the services offered by you to job seekers?
Yes, you have to have a loop with the job seekers and the employers. That's the same for other matching systems. Here also, you have to look at it with job seekers and employers, and they can give at VDRB a rank with a term, or to say, okay, it's good and it's not good. And I come back later on it how we will do it in September.
Okay.
But yes, you have do that for all of the things you are doing with matching. Is it new IA or something else?
Okay.
On it?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. So as we demonstrated before, we have two CVs and one size that does not fit all. We looked at the different elements that are applicable in addition to the CV. what I want to demonstrate here is how, with all that additional knowledge, you can now generate your individual perspectives, match strategies for each target group. So if we look to the presentation, we see Mark, we see him living in the right region, relevant experience, but why did he get unemployed? So what can we do for him? We can show him his vacancies, we can offer him tests. He's quite young, so work experience not so extensive yet. So what would really be actually his interests instead of purely desired occupation? And we can offer him specialized assistance.
So you put these two people in different target groups?
Yes.
Yes. And then you use the word perspective. Can you, because you can use that word in different ways. What kind of perspective do you have to find a job, or what kind of perspective? Because I think we use it in a different way. That it is a certain approach, matching strategy.
Yes. So a perspective would be a match strategy, but it would also be offering. So in other words, if I'm in a certain target group, like Mark, we can also define on the front end that he gets different offerings, and in his result list, when we show him available vacancies, we can also have additional information and instructions. For example, you missed this and this, but that's on the job training. If you apply to this position, you can actually add this knowledge and then become more relevant for that vacancy. On the other hand, Frank needs another view, another perspective on the labor market. He needs different opportunities. So there we define what we call a new perspective. In other words, a new match strategy, accompany it with all the knowledge needed for him to understand the list of the results that he gets.
Can you also use target groups for an organization who's not going well, and that there are people who are going away?
For instance, I just heard that Deutsche Bank still needs to
lay off
10,000 people. Citicorp said the same thing.
Yes.
Seems to be a thing in the banks.
Yes. So the banking industry is not so popular anymore for vacancies. Yes. Any segmentation rule can be applied. Mm-hmm. So, for example, in the old previously in the Netherlands, we had a department store that went bankrupt. Then all those people can be in a single target group, but you can also additionally segment them. So, for example, you can say, well, let's take the management, let's take the operational people, let's take the front office people, and put them all in different segments. Also, then allow multiple segments to respond to multiple perspectives. One example, we have a front office employee. Let's say we have 500 of them, and we all send them to the same vacancy. That also doesn't make any sense. So there you need to then distribute the amount of people to the available vacancies.
Okay.
So yes, any segmentation can occur,
okay,
as long as you've captured the knowledge.
Yeah.
So in this case, you would have captured the companies they work for,
yeah,
and then you can...
and the competencies on that part also.
Yes, but then, as said, the target group can also be used for the front end, so then you can also invite those people, recognize where they're from, offer them certain assessment tests, interest tests, and then based on that do the advice.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Maybe it's a little bit late, but it's never too late to ask a good question. When you talk about expert knowledge, does it mean that a PES has to maintain all this knowledge by itself? All you said, all that stuff in the ontology, is it up to the PES to constantly update it themselves, or do you also update it?
It depends on the PES itself. Let me clarify that. As said, you need knowledge for the steering. So if you want to have a tight control over your employment market, you need to record and maintain that knowledge. It also depends on the type of knowledge, because educations, occupations, they can be relatively static. There, AI can auto-update the allocated skills for an occupation. So then the answer would be, yes, as a PES, you need to maintain it yourself, but there are tools available that sort of will do it automatically. If you have a very stable employment market where job matching just works and there's no steering needed, then also updating your knowledge is not required.
But you said in the beginning that WCC also supplies a lot of knowledge
Yes.
based on 10,000 or 10 million. What was it? Are you still continuing that and building that knowledge, or?
Yes, that is a day-to-day activity where knowledge gets extended, updated, new releases from ONET are incorporated, new releases from ESCO are incorporated, languages are added, etc.
And that you can also offer then?
Yes.
You see to the PES.
Okay.
Yes, so the semantics is a constant update.
Okay, good, thank you. Please, people, if you have more questions, feel free to ask the questions. We're happy to answer them for you.
Okay, so we have knowledge, we have target groups, we have perspectives. And that means that from a WCC perspective, one algorithm does not fit all. As we demonstrated earlier, Mark and Frank are not the same people. However, one algorithm doesn't fit anybody. Every single person needs his own perspective in the end, because you as an individual are the one that needs to find a new vacancy, or you as an employer need to find the correct candidate. So that is in short an overview on AI perspectives and scenario and target groups.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. How do we do it at VDAB? VDAB is one of the PESs in Belgium, and I'm being here before in 2016. And I will explain what we are doing with IA at this moment. You see here a slide for artificial intelligence at VDAB, and we are working now at our JobNet perspective. What are we doing there? We have a labo at VDAB, and what's meaning big a labo? We are looking there for technologies, for seeing, okay, well, which technology is in the market and how can we use it at VDAB.
Your
and
laboratorium.
Yeah, it's a laboratorium where people or organizations come with VDAB and look at with VDAB on our VDAB system how do we do something new. And JobNet is one of the things I will explain to you what we are doing there. JobNet will to see how we match with deep learning, we match the vacancy and the job seeker. And we are using there the job data from in our system at VDAB. We are using there the vacancies, of course, and the profiles of the persons, the CVs, and the files of the persons. But also, Marcel, you say to me, big data, are you using also big data? Yes, we are using for JobNet also big data. We are using the clicks on our website, but not the click that I am doing. When I going now to the VDAB site and I click on some vacancies, and then I go to my file at VDAB. There I get some vacancies of our JobNet in September. But it's not the same. We are not using one-to-one the clicks on our website to use it in our vacancies and to see it on your screen in your profile. No, so it's not it's working with groups, and it's looking for that group and that group. What are you doing? This vacancy and this vacancy, are they the same or not? And how do we do that? You see here one of the examples we have on our screen with our Labo team. And they are working with a startup organization who makes this happen. And in September, there will be a beta version of this in our live system, where we're going to experiment this with job seekers to see if it's good, if it's not good, what we have to do, that they can give a time of not. And you see here that we going to give a percentage of the vacancy is live or not live. That's one of the things we do, but also we are working with WCC on that item. And what we are going to do at VDAB in July, this is a pilot project. You see here what we have done at VDAB with Elise, the matching engine from WCC. We have started in 2004 with our matching system. And here you see only for the automatic matching what we have done in the few years ago. What is automatic matching? Automatic matching is that when vacancies come in, an employer is given a vacancy. When it says, okay, it's good, and the quality, of course, is good of that vacancy, then it's going, it's in Elise, and we give the 125 most best job seekers, candidates are not employed, we give them the vacancies into their mailbox of SMS, of they get a letter from VDAB. That's our automatic matching system. Also, we use competence-based matching from 2013 on this, but our pilot project, what we are going to do with our pilot project, we are going to use competence-based matching and we are looking at appropriate employment. What we are going to learn there, we are going at machine learning with WCC, the search and match and the target group you have said earlier. We are going to differentiate the target groups and to see how we can use it. We are going also setting up our matching system in time, that you are saying, okay, you are a job seeker, 1 month job seeker. This is our matching system, and setting up our matching system 2 months later, we are going to set up the matching on a different way. Three months later, or 1 year later, we're setting up the matching on a different way also. At this moment, we don't use that item specifically, and we are want to see on the pilot how we will use it. Also, there are some citizens they don't know what they want do with their job, and therefore also we going to consume the match for citizens a little better for their requirements, shop requirements. That's how we will do at VDAB. What's the timing on this project? We will start with WCC in July here. And we're setting up from scratch. That's the 3rd time at VDAB. The first time it was in the beginning by the start of matching. The 2nd time it was by competence-based matching. We have set up from scratch. And also this year we are going to set up our matching from scratch. And we are looking with you, with WCC, about this pilot project. If it's going well, it will be in December of January 2019. We can see the results, and we are going to look with our VDAB management if we will use it in 2019 in our system, live then at VDAB.
I expect that you have some kind of expectations from the pilot project. How do you think it will influence your services?
We think about these target groups. I have given an example for an organization who's bankrupt. We have some experience with that, but we are not using our matching system at this time. It's two way that you can say, okay, it's too much to develop your system, you have to say, okay, to the developer, you have to do this, 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 and this. And that's not the way we want it. With your system, with your new system, and the target groups, we can decide it ourselves, and we don't have to use a developer for that. And that's one of also the things we are saying, okay, we will try it out.
Yes, so it's not necessarily something that has to be programmed, that you can just configure it.
No, you have, yeah.
Maybe then I can link to that the question from Ingrid Dekker. She says, who decides on the services for different target groups? Is this only decided by artificial intelligence, or is there some interference or by experts? And really, can you 1 year decide to give a target group a test and the other year some other service?
Yeah, you can do that. That's why we will do that pilot also.
Yeah, so it's human interference that you decide, and it's not necessarily artificial intelligence who decides it.
No. And you can see with your management, it's here a strategic situation that you can do with your management to see, okay, what are the future and what are the target groups at that moment.
No. People, again, this was an interesting question from Ingrid. Look at the orange button in your screen if you want to ask questions. This is the time. I want to ask one more question here from Ivailo Alexandriv. I hope I pronounce it well. And he says, what is the algorithm of artificial intelligence in the following case? A person wishes to retrain, for example, a person with a military school education and also has 10 years of experience in the army, and now he wants to become a chef. So what is the algorithm or artificial intelligence in the following case?
Okay, in that case, you would verify in the knowledge, your ontology, your guarded knowledge, you will verify what skills or competencies does he have at this moment. So you can start with assessments. That will result in additional knowledge on the candidate. Your algorithm will then say, what kind of requirements does a chef have? And then match the demanded and offered skills, and then verify, are there any gaps? So should he retrain? Should he maybe do some additional on-the-job training? Maybe not start as a chef, but start as a cook, and then do some experience as a cook, and then progress to chef. So there, algorithms would assist in knowledge required to become relevant in that position. Mm-hmm. Then additional knowledge will also identify where and in which part of the country and or continent jobs will be available. For example, he could also go on cruise lines, and all of that knowledge will then make the result he is looking for.
Okay. You talked about, we've been talking about target groups, and you said that target groups, the best would have every person in its own target group. But of course, that seems not manageable for the foreseeing time.
No.
In your experience, where is the balance between the number of target groups you want to try to define and can manage?
I think between 3 and 5 of 6 target groups. I think when you have too much, you have to define, okay, this and this person where it belongs in the target groups. And you have also people who are not going into one target group, but in different target groups. And you have to see, okay, what are these expectations in this kind of matter? Because when you have one person in my 6 target groups, what does it mean? It can be relevant that you have one person in all of the 6 target groups. Mm-hmm. Then you have not to define your target group well. And that's one of the things we will learn for the pilots also. Because at VDIB we have some target groups, but also not defined yet, is it a good one of not? And that we will do with WCC and analyze how we will manage the target groups.
Because we have, I don't know, yes, this is the slide with the results. And I have some answers for you for how many target groups people have been defining. And there was a choice of 1 to 3. There's 11%. There's 4 to 5, 22%.
Okay.
And the majority, 67%, says 6 or more.
Oh, okay.
So
They're not, okay.
So that's, people are working on that. And of course, it would be interesting to gather that information. How can you all manage that? And are you intending to, because it's 6 or more, that could also be 100.
Oh.
So we are very interested maybe to find out how do you do and how you manage that. Maybe that could be interesting for next time.
Yeah.
I have one more question here from the audience, and that is, Ria, can you tell a little bit more about what you mean with proactive profiling? And will you use only the target groups, or will you differentiate using trends from the actual labor force?
We will use also things we see in our system, and we are going to look with WCC how our CVs, our vacancies, and our different things are managed, and how we can get it into target groups. And that's one of the things there that we are going also to see of artificial intelligence are there as well good in. One of the things there we are looking at with IE is to see that we can decide if a people is unemployed or employed. How many months, days, year he has been unemployed, and can we say, okay, in 1 year you are employed, and that's where we're looking at now also with our Labo group.
Because I also understand that you are going to give different matching strategies for people who are only 1 month unemployed, or people who are all 1 year unemployed.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we are going to do, because our labor market is crimping. Shrinking. Our job seekers are not enough for each vacancy on our system, and that's why we are thinking about to say, okay, nearly 1 month you can say you can choose which vacancy you want, and go to the employer and looking for a job. But when you are 1 year unemployed, we are saying, okay, you can use other vacancies, and what you have as a job and your competencies. Or there are other vacancies nearby where you live that you can go to the employer and go searching for a job.
It only makes sense, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one more question. That is, and I think we discussed it earlier also in other webinars, is data quality is very important.
Yeah.
And the first time you were with us, you also told us about when the people input their data to get more relevant information. And this is a normal question. What is VDIB doing to improve data quality? And how do you cope with bad quality?
Yeah. We are using our own online assistant for the vacancies and for the job seeker part. And where we are looking at is what is the quality on each part, that you say the studies is not filled in, other things are not filled in, and then we are saying, oh, this field is not filling in bad. You are using words that are not correct in the language we are using. These are different things in our system we are using on our system. And when the quality is not good, the vacancy and the CV of the person are not going into our matching system. And that's one of the things that is very important for VDAB, because WCC ELISE is very good, but when you are getting in bad quality, you're getting out bad quality. And that's one of the things when you have a vacancy with 2 or 3 criteria, you're getting out this vacancy high on the list of the CV of the person, because you have 3 criteria to match with. And that's one of the things we have learned from our system before, that we have to make an online assistant at VDAB that you can say, okay, the quality is not good.
Yeah.
All of our partners, temporary agencies and open services partners, are also using our online assistant when they put in their vacancy in their own system. Randstad can say, okay, a Randstad consultant can say, okay, I put in my vacancy and I click before I go to VDAB to publish it on the VDAB site, clicking on quality, online assistant, and he's giving back directly what is wrong. And then the counselor can decide, okay, this and this I will feel better in, and then and then the vacancy is into our system at VDAB.
And this decision or this advice on what is good and what is bad is also fed by the knowledge base?
Yes, we are looking with colleagues on that perspective also, to learn from them and to see what we are going to do with that we can improve our online assistant there.
I have two questions, time is running out, but like you're talking about machine learning in your slide, you're talking about neural networks, you talk about deep learning, predictive modeling, it's all a lot of new knowledge. Do you have that in-house?
No. We are working in our lab with a startup organization, and they are bringing in their competencies, and they are working with us in this type of labo, where they do the thing for September.
Another question from my side, a lot of people think that artificial intelligence is something that there is this computer who knows everything and can learn by itself, but is that the truth? Because is it, or do you really have to train them like a baby?
Yeah, you have to train them like a baby in the beginning. You have to say, we have the duplicates at VDAB. Randstad and Convert give in a vacancy for Cohort, one of the employers there, and there are the 3 same vacancies. But you have to learn to the system. You have to teach to learn to say, okay, these are the 3 same vacancies. And then you have to say, this and this vacancy are not the same, because this location and that location is not the same. This is in West Vlaanderen, and this is in another kind of region of Belgium. And that's not the same one. That's not the same vacancy anymore. And that you have to learn the system.
Okay. Needs that net the same time as a baby, to 10 years, 20 years to become smart?
I hope not. It's they are working now on this system, and we will see. How we train it. And
I'm wondering when the system will go into puberty.
That will be very interesting.
In September we have a beta version. I don't know when we have the rest of it.
We'll be very interested in hearing from you in the future about your results. I have one final question. Does it mean that people with a bad CV, in your case, don't get an advice?
No. They get the advice to fill in their CV better.
Yes.
That's on the screen in the VDAB system. And also they getting vacancies from VDAB. And a counselor can say, oh, can you see on your CV this and this is wrong. But they get vacancies from VDAB. But we have to learn them to use their CV good. And that's why the quality is so good.
Okay, good. I think time is almost up. People, if you want to know more or maybe watch webinars we presented in the past, you can go to PESApp.org That's a website where we collect all this information about the webinars and about the book and some other stuff. Maybe you'll help us in gathering information that is important for your colleagues, because again, we do this to help you exchange knowledge about what you know and is happening in your organization. So please use that. We do have planned a workshop on this topic. We've planned it on 20 September, because that's also when we will have the workshop on my skills from from Germany that we presented in the other webinar. It's in Utrecht. It's where our head office is. It's in the center of for the Netherlands, but Netherlands is not very big, so Netherlands is almost one big center. It's only a few minutes away from everywhere in the Netherlands. So we would love to hear from you if you are interested in coming to this webinar, to this workshop in the Netherlands. And then finally, to wrap up, again, if you want to watch it again, or you think your colleagues should watch it, just use this link that you've used for this webinar. It will work, so you can do that. We have a little bit, we'll ask you for a little bit of feedback. So if you probably see now on the screen, there is this evaluation, a few questions. Please give us some feedback so we can try to improve, or know that you're very happy with us. That's also, of course, very nice to know. Then I would like to thank Ria for being with us again.
Yeah.
And I think it was a very interesting stuff that you are doing. It's a whole new area, this artificial intelligence. And well, we hope you'll be back to tell us more what you're doing with that. And Marcel, thank you very much for being with us and telling us also about what WCC is doing in this. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.